Recently, I, a teen female, screamed at my parents for trying to pay off the loan my brother, 19, had taken from the bank to purchase a new car that he can't pay back. I know they're trying to help my brother get on his feet now that he's left home. Still, being a pilot has been my dream since I was very little. The training for it is very costly, so every little piece of money I've made, I've been putting into a bank account to save. I've even started working 2 jobs of babysitting and helping out in a local cafe. 2 weeks ago, my brother bought himself a brand new car with a loan from the bank, and now he's telling my parents he can't pay it back. He has no job and my parents pay for his college accommodation. When I heard this, I didn't think much about it and offered to bring his CV to a few places in town to see if he could get a job. Last night, my parents told me that they would take the money from my account to pay for his loan, and I was furious with them. I screamed and called them idiots and said that they didn't care about me at all because they never supported my dreams. I'm the only girl in my family with a younger and older brother. I haven't spoken to my parents since then. All my hard work has gone down the drain, and I'll never get to accomplish my dream. My relationship with my brother was good before this, and I know that his bad financial decisions were not intended to harm me. But I'm still angry with him and my parents for behaving like this. Am I the idiot for screaming at my parents for trying to use the college funds I earned myself to pay off my brother's debt? Edit. I'm still determining how my brother got the loan, but my parents co-signed, and yes, my parents have access to my bank account as I'm not 18. The money in this account is entirely my own savings, as my parents said that they would contribute half of what I had saved by the end. And no, they're not making my brother sell the car, as he needs it to get around. Absolutely not the idiot. What the actual heck is wrong with your parents? You worked for and saved that on your own. I'm so sorry and ashamed on your parents' behalf. You're more mature than your brother and parents combined. Start hiding the money you make where they can't find it. You will go far, OP. This is a setback, but with your determination, you will rise above all these idiots in life. My heart goes out to you. My wife's mother also stole her hard-earned money from her pre-college jobs and any gifts she had from her grandparents, etc. Always with the lie it would be paid back. 30-plus years later, not a penny. Oh, and refused to supply the tax information required for the FAFSA, a prerequisite for almost any financial aid in college. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. My parents stole my college money in week 1 of college. The college had the RA come to my room and tell me my parents had canceled checks for both school and the dorm, and I had to move out. I rushed to my bank and my account had been closed. Both claimed this never happened until their divorce, and then both admitted it happened and blamed the other one. The idea that we can't have a bank account as a team without an adult on it is complete BS. This happens way too often. Honey, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Geez, I can't imagine having parents like that. That's literally stealing from you, OP. Your brother's happiness and livelihood are not your responsibility. He got himself into that situation. He needs to figure out how to get a job quickly to pay that loan. Do not put any more money into that bank account. If you have it directly deposited, stop it and hold on to it. Put it somewhere they can't find it. OP, you need to tell someone else. Another relative, a grandparent, someone at school. Someone else needs to know, please. You earned that money. Your brother's an idiot for buying a car without a job. I'm not sure how he even got the bank loan. I hope it's not too late. 2 things to keep in mind. My roommate, 19 female, and I, 19 female, come from a Muslim country in North Africa, and we're both rich. Very rich from the perspective of our countries. Last year, I graduated from an international school in my country and got a spot in a great college here in the U.S. One of my classmates also managed to get into the same college. When our parents found out, they asked us if we'd like to live together, and we agreed, thinking it would help with homesickness to have a familiar face. Also, we were not friends. We just went to the same international school. Our parents came to the U.S. with us, and they rented us an apartment in a secure building with all the amenities: doorman, gym, pool, cleaning service, mostly because they were worried that we might not adjust to dorm life. All the info they had about dorm life came from college movies, since they mostly studied in Europe or our original country. At first, things were fine, but then my roommate started drinking and partying and got a boyfriend that she would sometimes bring home. I'm a practicing Muslim, even if I don't wear a hijab, so I was uncomfortable with the strange man in our house. Also, she started bringing alcohol to our apartment, which is a big no-no in our religion. I tried talking with her, but she said it was her home as much as mine, and she could do what she wanted. I didn't want to snitch on her, so I acted like the spoiled princess and complained to my dad that I didn't want to share my living space. I told him I wasn't used to sharing with someone. He was upset with me, but he told me to go ahead and get another unit in the same building, and that he would speak to my roommate's parents and apologize to them. And that's precisely what I did, as well as apologizing to my roommate for not adjusting to sharing the space with her. Well, her parents were suspicious, I guess, since things were sailing smoothly at first, and they didn't think that I was being honest about my reasons. They surprised her by visiting out of the blue, only to find her in bed with her boyfriend and alcohol in the house. They were very upset, forced her to drop out of college in the U.S., and moved her back with them to finish school in our original country. This happened in early January. I think she just got access back to her social media and phone, and she sent me this lengthy message, accusing me of being an idiot for causing her to be dragged back to living with her parents and ruining her future and chance at obtaining a degree from the U.S. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. First of all, it was your apartment too, and you were entitled to want to feel comfortable in it. She could have spent the night at her boyfriend's house and drank out of the house. Second, you did not snitch on her. All you did was remove yourself from a living situation that didn't suit you. Everything else that happened was the direct result of her decisions, as well as her parents. Exactly. This is all on her. She knew you were uncomfortable with what was happening and just carried on regardless. Her behavior pushed you out, which set and trained the events leading to her going home. Best of luck with the rest of your studies. You've got nothing to blame yourself for. I have an infant daughter. My mother-in-law's been here easily 30 plus times, and the only thing she wants to help with is either changing my daughter's diaper or bottle feeding her. We made a rule: no one changes our daughter but us. But the bottle issue, I strictly breastfeed. I have a pump. I do not use it. I have no reason to use it. She doesn't need to bottle feed my baby, but it gets her irritated that I refuse. So mother-in-law came here yesterday, just showed up. No call ahead, nothing. Said she was in the area. I was making dinner. She asked, "What are we having?" I tell her, "I only made enough for us, so I'm assuming you're eating whatever's at your place." Because I'm tired of going without my portion, because she shows up and eats without even checking if I've eaten, or eaten my portions out of the fridge because she didn't know it was mine. She says, "Wow, okay," and walks off. She says to my husband, "Guess there's not enough to feed me," in a passive-aggressive tone. Well, my daughter's been fussing for 5 minutes at this point, and my husband was trying to soothe her while I finished dinner. We alternate nights. My mother-in-law says, "Here, I'll take the baby while you finish dinner. Claire can pump real quick so I can get the baby settled." I'm so tired of this argument with her. So in the heat of the moment, and being angry she was here anyway, I slammed the spatula on the counter and said, "You're not feeding my kid. I'm not pumping for you. Bring it up again, and I'll be going no contact, and you'll have very little to do with your granddaughter's life at all." I then take the baby, pass the spatula to my husband, walk into the back room, and lock myself away. I could hear her arguing with my husband in the kitchen, and then a door slammed. Well, my husband came into the bedroom, knocked and said, "I kicked her out." And then I heard his footsteps walking away. I come out and he's angrily finishing dinner, so I just don't say anything. Well, he turns and says, "I will have you know that I'm done with this BS, You don't want her changing the baby, but feeding her? Holy cow! You two act like darn children, and I'm sick of being in the middle of it. Is it really that much of a problem to pump so she can feed her one single time so I don't have to hear it? He then aggressively slams my plate down in front of me, storms off to his office, and slams the door. He has since apologized and said he's just done with it and says he's going no contact with his mother, but his whole attitude has changed. He's distant now. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's literally double work for you to pump and then feed the baby. Tell your husband that this grandma says he's an idiot, just like his mother. He should be on your side and tell his mom to shut up. You don't want to use a bottle. End of discussion. I never suggested my daughter-in-law use a pump. Not my business. I never stop in for a visit uninvited. Never. Tell your husband that if it's so important to him that his mommy feeds your child, then he can pump the milk out of his breast. Pumping is a pain in the butt and boobs. I would never do it to entertain an adult. That's something you do when necessary to nourish your child. Plus, they're both idiots. Your baby's starving, so you should let her starve for a half an hour while you pump so his mommy can feel super important? How is that the best choice for the child? Hubby needs to man up and quit whining. He needs to deal with his pushy mom. It's time for him to get a spine and lay down new rules. Mother-in-law does not come into your home unless she's invited to visit. Inviting herself doesn't count. The entitlement on her part is mind-boggling. You are under no obligation to pump if you don't want to. It's a major hassle if nothing else. She's trying too hard to use your child as her do-over baby. It's so obvious. I have 3 people at home right now. My daughter's going to college, and my son and his wife are staying to save money. The issue is with my son and his wife. They eat so much, and frankly, it's a concerning amount. What I usually did before they moved in was make a meal, everyone ate, and then packed up leftovers in the fridge. The food's gone by the time I even try to get seconds. Sometimes I make food, and my daughter isn't home, and it's all gone. I sometimes make big meals that can feed 4 to 6 people with leftovers. For example, I made a pound of spaghetti with meat sauce. I didn't even get any. I didn't grab any, and I was going to eat after I finished some chores. My daughter wasn't home, and those 2 ate a whole pound of spaghetti. I had a 2-layer cake, almost all of which was there, and went to work. The cake was almost gone when I got home. That was less than 8 hours. My daughter's very frustrated since there's never any cooked food. I have made double batches, which gives leftovers, but they don't last. The next day, the leftovers are gone. It's hurting my wallet, and I'm over it. I don't want to charge for groceries since that won't solve the issue with leftovers, or if they eat everything before anyone has the chance to eat. So I sat everyone down and told them I would plate everyone's food. The leftovers would be split evenly and labeled clearly. If anyone was still hungry, they could buy more food to eat. I implemented it today. My daughter and I loved it because we could eat and have leftovers. They hated it and are still hungry. This started an argument, and they thought I was a huge idiot. Not the idiot. It makes no sense to cook if those intended don't get to eat. So plating and labeling leftovers seems reasonable to ensure everyone gets to eat. I think it's weird that your son and his wife would think it's okay to eat all or most of the food when you and your daughter hadn't had a chance to eat anything. That was so inconsiderate of them. 2-layer cake? That means they ate about 3,000 calories each as a snack. I'd be wondering out loud, very loudly, that they should go to the doctor. Maybe they both have a tapeworm. That's absolutely gluttony they're displaying. You're not a restaurant or a buffet. It's time for son and wife to spread their wings and leave the nest. They should learn about self-reliance and how much their lack of self-control cost. Keep doing what you're doing. Either die on this hill or die on this hill. Your choice. They hated it and are still hungry. But what about all that money they're saving? They should be able to supplement their appetites themselves. Time to either cut these moochers loose or cut them off of cooked meals. Growing up, My wife was parentified by her parents, who expected her to do everything in their house so they could work. She was basically a live-in nanny, cook, maid, tutor, and gardener from the time she was 12 until she left for college. She had to hide her intelligence from her mom and dad and apply for scholarships and college admission without them knowing. It took a while for their relationship to heal, but it still affected her. I, on the other hand, grew up on a working ranch. I had chores and lots of them, but my time was my own after they were done. We've been married for 13 years, and we have 2 kids that we agreed would do chores. The thing is, though, she does not enforce the chores. If the kids don't clean up, she doesn't make them put down whatever they're playing with and make them clean up. If my son leaves his dirty dishes on the couch, she won't make him put them away. We've had several discussions about this. The last one, after I had to get stitches, one of the kids left a plate on the couch instead of taking it to the sink when they were done with it. I didn't notice and sat on it. It broke, and I had to get stitches on my butt. I told her that she needed to make the kids do their chores. She said she didn't want them to feel about us the way she felt about her parents. I said there was a huge difference between being an unpaid servant, cleaning up after yourself, and helping put groceries away. Our kids don't have to curry horses or help with cattle. I had no problem being the bad guy, so I started making the kids do their chores. My wife hated it. I discovered that she began to do their chores, so I would think they did them. Fine. I stopped doing mine too. Not the yard work and stuff, just my part of the housework. She works from home and she has a home office where she sees clients. So if the house is a mess, it reflects badly on her. So she's been doing everything. And she's angry at me for being so petty. I don't think it's petty to want to raise useful humans. I don't want my son or daughter to not be a full partner in their future relationships. My wife has now told the kids that they have to help. She's mad that I manipulated the situation to force her hand. Like I said, it's not too much for kids to clean up after themselves and help with homework. They're both within 10 years of going away to school, and I want them to be civilized. Dude, sorry about your butt. You are not the idiot. For sure, cleaning up after yourself isn't a chore. It's a basic behavior that should be ingrained. Your wife is turning your kids into slobs with no self-discipline. This is going to be so damaging to their future. Your wife is being harmful to them and you. She needs to unpack her childhood trauma, since it's still clearly affecting how she raises the kids, and it's making her overcompensate, which doesn't help the kids in the long run. She's the idiot here, a traumatized one. She is not doing these kids any favors as they grow up. Not being able to clean up after yourself will be detrimental in the long run. No one wants a partner whose mommy never made them lift a finger. My mom was like OP's wife, but a single mom. We didn't do jack, and she busted her butt 24/7. When I was 23, I had to call her and ask how to clean a toilet. She was quiet for a moment, then said, "Yeah, this is on me." I feel so behind in life skills even now. I microwave all my food, etc. My instincts say OP was too harsh, but I don't know. Whatever it takes for those kids to not end up like me, I guess. That said, I feel for the wife a lot here. She deserves a break she isn't giving herself. I hope she can learn to internalize that and help her kids grow up to be functional adults in the process.